You know what they say, too many cooks spoil the broth. And when it comes to food and nutrition advice online, it feels like the whole internet is in our kitchen, each one adding a different, maybe confusing ingredient to the pot. The result is big. It's a big jammed up mess of bad flavors and no clear vision. So let's strain out the noise and find the clear, trusted recipe for success. Here to help us cook up a plan that's both healthy and delicious, we have registered dietitian nutritionist Crystal from Cooking with Crystal. Crystal Orozco, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. Okay, so Crystal, first, we've had you on the show before, but now we're theming you around Cooking with Crystal. So tell us, what's your vision for our viewers to take away from your segments?
Yes, so Cooking with Crystal will be a monthly nutrition and cooking segment to help busy viewers eat well without compromising joy, culture, and of course, flavor. Yeah. We're going to be sharing practical nutrition tips rooted in evidence-based nutrition, as well as delicious recipes full of sazon.
Flavored. I remember
flavor. Yes.
Flavor. Okay, and we love that you blend your professional expertise with your cultural love of food.
Yes.
So how does your background make your approach to healthy eating different?
Yeah, so it's so important for me and for other cultures. There's so many delicious, nutritious foods in all cultures. And for me, I want to combine my identity and my culture because food is love in most cultures. So I don't want to compromise culture. And so we're going to be doing lots of Latin-inspired dishes as well as different cultures to celebrate the unique nutritious products in each of the cultures.
Yes. Okay. And we said it a little bit in the intro, but there's so much nutrition advice online, on social media, a lot of people telling you what you should be eating, shouldn't be eating. But how do we make sure we're listening to reliable resources and not just everything that we're seeing?
Yeah, I think it's important for viewers to get educated on what are those trusted sources of information. So if they're reading a nutrition article, for example, is it written by a registered dietitian nutritionist, which is a credentialed health expert? Or if they're getting medical information, is it written by a medical doctor or a registered nurse? And there's also trusted organizations, for example, the Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, National Institute of Health, that are trusted sources bringing you the latest research. So really understanding those credible sources so it's accurate information.
Yes, doing the research. I like that.
Yes.
And then let's talk about the new year. A lot of people are setting those intentions for 2026 with eating healthy being one of them. What's your number one place for people to start if they've set that intention, that goal? Hey, I want to eat a little bit better in 2026.
Yeah, I think we're consuming a lot of ultra-processed foods. So for me, it's going back to the basics, reading the ingredient label. Are we eating whole foods? Are we nourishing our bodies with foods that we understand what they are, right? Fruits, vegetables, whole grains. So do we understand that ingredient label instead of eating a lot of preservatives and food that's not healthy for us, limiting added sugars? So really focusing on whole foods and avoiding ultra-processed foods.
All right, we got to do better this year. And then can you give us just a little sneak peek of your cooking philosophy? What's one thing you'd love for every home cook to remember when they're in the kitchen making those dishes for themselves?
Yeah, so cooking doesn't have to be hard, and it's all about, for me, adding that sazon, adding the flavor. And throughout the year, we'll talk about quick, easy, delicious ways to add sazon. And for me, it's making sure we have the delicious spices, for example, that are fresh, like mint, basil, fresh cracked black pepper, garlic, aromatic bases, onions. So fresh herbs and spices can really elevate our meals, and they're simple little things we can do to make it taste really good and flavorful.
All right, and then last, Crystal, can you share your top 3 nutrition tips for 2026?
Yes. So most people are not consuming enough fruits and vegetables, and they're loaded with nutritional value, vitamins, minerals, fiber, and so my advice is eat one plant, fruit or vegetable at every single meal.
Okay.
So that's something to remember.
Yes.
2 is most people are not consuming enough fiber, and fiber has so many nutritional benefits. It helps prevent constipation, helps you feel fuller longer, and it lowers cholesterol. So foods that have high fiber are our legumes, so our bean family, and I love beans because they're a powerhouse food. All our fruits and vegetables have fiber, and then we have our whole grains. So our oatmeal, whole wheat pasta, whole wheat rice, brown rice.
Yes.
So our whole grains. And tip number 3 would be staying dehydrated. We're consuming a lot of sugary beverages, energy drinks, Gatorades, soda. So if we can eliminate those added sugars, and there's ways to add natural occurring sugars, so we can add a little strawberry or even adding cucumber, fresh lemon, ways to enhance the flavor without those added sugars and added calories.
I love how you break things down because you simplify it to where it's obtainable. So it's like, okay, adding a fruit, adding a veggie with every meal. I'm going to add some pineapple to my snack today. Crystal, always helpful advice from you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yes. All right. I'm going to let our viewers know where they can go for more info. Besides her fantastic monthly segments here, you can find more recipes, tips, and that wonderful sazon at VidaNutritionConsulting.com. And be sure to follow Crystal on Instagram at Sabor con Crystal.